Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're digging into something kind of like a silent invasion. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's happening inside all of our brains. We're talking about how our devices, our tech, are literally being engineered to capture our single most valuable resource, our attention. So it really all starts with a question I bet you've asked yourself, probably late at night when you're just staring at a screen way longer than you meant to. Why can't I just look away? Well, it turns out the answer isn't just about willpower, not by a long shot. It's actually about our own brain chemistry running headfirst into some very intentional design.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to look inside our own heads for a second. See, there's this really powerful and often subconscious link between our emotions, what we're feeling, and that automatic impulse to just reach for our phones. Yeah, they've basically become our modern-day emotional pacifiers.
And, this isn't just some casual observation. Researchers actually have a clinical term for it, problematic smartphone use, or PSU. And what's really important here is that it's not viewed as some kind of personal failing. It's treated as a behavioral addiction, with compulsive patterns that look a whole lot like a gambling disorder. You just keep doing it, even when you know it's causing you problems. So a huge study from the National Institutes of Health really dug into this and found a clear, undeniable link. To put it simply, the harder it is for us to manage our emotions, the more likely we are to get sucked into compulsively using our phones. Think about it. We're not just mindlessly scrolling. A lot of the time, we're actively trying to numb out or distract ourselves from what we're feeling. Right, but here's the kicker. This internal impulse we have, this need to soothe ourselves, it's not happening by itself. It's being met head-on by this incredibly sophisticated system that is designed, from the ground up, to exploit that very feeling. This is what we mean by the architecture of addiction. You have to understand, social media apps are not neutral tools. Not at all. They are built with very specific tricks to manipulate our behavior. Those notifications, they're designed to put you in a constant state of anxious alert. That infinite scroll, its whole job is to just scatter your attention to the wind. And the like button, oh, that's the masterstroke. It works exactly like a slot machine, giving you unpredictable rewards that reinforce that compulsive need to check and check and check again. And this whole state of constant alert, it plugs right into a very powerful, very modern anxiety. The fear of missing out, what we all know as FOMO. It's that nagging little voice in your head that says, if you're not constantly checking in, you're going to be left behind. You're going to miss something important. And that feeling is a massive psychological driver that keeps us glued to our devices. But okay, this isn't just some internal battle happening inside our own heads. No, this brain rewiring is literally spilling out into the real world, and it's fundamentally changing one of the most basic human things we do, actually connecting with each other. 82%. Just think about that number for a second. A major Pew study found that a staggering 82% of adults felt that when someone pulls out a phone during a conversation, it just ruins it. It makes it worse. So we have this huge disconnect. We all know it's a problem, but we just keep doing it anyway. And MIT researcher Sherry Turkle, she really hits the nail on the head when she explains what's at stake here. She says that conversation is the most human and humanizing thing we do. It's not just about swapping facts, it's the very place where empathy and intimacy are born. And by swapping out real, deep conversation for these shallow connections on a screen, we're putting that whole foundation at risk. The research on this is just wild. Get this. Studies show that just having a phone on the table, even if it's turned face down, totally silent, it changes everything. The topics we talk about become more trivial, almost like we're subconsciously choosing subjects we wouldn't mind being interrupted from. And, maybe most importantly, we feel less of an actual empathetic connection to the person sitting right across from us. All right, so let's put these pieces together. What happens when you take that architecture of addiction we talked about and you combine it with our emotional state? Well, you get a uniquely modern problem, that endless, anxious, can't stop, won't stop consumption of bad news we call doom scrolling. So this study from York University actually lays out a really clear psychological path for us. It shows that when people feel marginalized or on the outside, it can lead to this state of hypervigilance. Basically, you're constantly on high alert, scanning for threats. And that state of mind directly fuels the urge to doom scroll because you're desperately searching for information to feel prepared, to feel safe. But here's the trap, right? It's a classic catch-22. Instead of actually making us feel any safer, all that scrolling creates this powerful, vicious feedback loop. The more bad news we consume, the more anxious and distracted we feel. And what does that anxiety do? It just pushes us to check even more. It's a spiral that can be incredibly hard to break out of.
Okay, so our attention is being hijacked, our conversations are getting worse, our anxiety's through the roof. The big question is, what do we do about it? How do we possibly fight back? How do we start to reclaim our own brains?
Well, the good news is we're not helpless here. Not at all. The very same research that points out how deep the problem is also points us toward real, tangible solutions. And they basically fall into two big camps: using digital tools and, well, using analog ones. So one really clever strategy is to kind of use technology against itself. Apps like these are designed to create friction. They basically slow you down. Some of them help you find the joy of missing out, or JOMO. Others, like Forest, turn focus into a game, making it rewarding. And an app like OneSec, it literally forces you to take a breath before opening a distracting app, which is often just enough to break that mindless cycle of clicking. But look, tech can only get us so far, right? An equally, if not more powerful approach is to just reconnect with the physical world. I'm talking about hands-on, sensory hobbies, things like painting or gardening or playing an instrument. They ground us in reality. They engage our minds and our bodies in a way that scrolling just can't touch, and it helps calm that very same nervous system our devices are constantly putting on high alert.
And that really brings us to the ultimate point, which Sherry Turkle puts so perfectly. She says we are the empathy app. No piece of software, no app can fix a fundamentally human problem. Tech didn't create this issue by itself, and it sure can't solve it alone. The real solution, the real empathy app, that's us. It's in our willingness to intentionally, purposefully reconnect with each other.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The most powerful tool you have for reclaiming your own attention isn't on your phone. It's right in front of you. It's making the choice to put the device down, to look someone in the eye, and to have a real, focused, uninterrupted conversation. So I'll leave you with this question. What conversation are you going to start today?